So, Will, you know Esther Perel is coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me
Oh my goodness.
if you could film me.
Esther, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Because she don't just...
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start roll. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
Please watch us stare at the red table because she's helped us a lot. Can't you tell?
What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome back to my channel. And before we get into it, please slap the like, share the video, and all that good stuff. Subscribe if you're new here. As some of you may know, I made a video about the Will Smith, Chris Rock, Oscar slap situation. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you go and watch the video because I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff that was in that video pertaining to the Smiths and how I insinuated that they are both narcissists. Some of the comments in the video was there to mention that I got it wrong and that Will Smith wasn't a narcissist and that he's just a victim of narcissists. And for me, I think that you can be both. I believe that narcissism exists in all of us. Will Smith is not different than everybody else, and of course also has narcissistic traits. We all have narcissistic traits. It's just that I believe that Jada's narcissistic traits are a lot bigger than Will's. And I think that this is a really good quote here that kind of really hammers home what I'm talking about. This is the quote here. It says, an old Cherokee chief teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside me, he said to the boy. It's a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is evil, he is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, self-doubt, and ego. The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too. The grandson then asked his grandfather which wolf will win. The old chief simply replied, the one you feed. So I think that this is a really good example of what I'm talking about with regards to narcissism and how it's within all of us, including Will Smith. So to me, if you've been following Will's career, you kind of have seen this kind of gradual change in him. And I think that that's because he's been feeding the wrong wolf. He's been feeding that narcissistic side of him. And I think it's because he's been in a really toxic relationship with an even bigger narcissist. And there's another quote in a movie called 8mm with Nicolas Cage, where it says, you dance with the devil don't change, the devil changes you. And I believe that that is exactly what's happened to Will Smith. Now, some people, are still speculating that this whole thing was a setup, that this was never intended to, it was a setup by the Academy and everyone was in on it and everything like that. And of course, you're allowed to believe that if you want to. I don't believe that. I think the slap was the only real thing that happened in the Oscars, and I think that the reason that I really do believe that is because of the fallout that has come since then for Will. If this was something that was set up, everyone involved would be benefiting from the fallout. In this case, Will Smith is not benefiting from the fallout of the slap. He's not been received well. There's been rumors that he, has lost projects when it comes to this situation. I don't think he's benefited at all. I don't think Will Smith has benefited from this. He has built his entire career on being the stand-up family man, and now everything is slowly falling apart. He's been losing projects. There was rumors going around that he might even be, dropped from his talent agency. And I looked that up. It seems like that might have been a rumor, but the point is, though, that there are ramifications to all of what has transpired. There was also this bit of news just earlier today that the Academy has decided to fast track Will Smith's Oscar slap disciplinary review. So they changed the date from April 18th, and it has been changed to April 8th now, because they want to fast track the proceedings and decide whether or not he's going to be having his Oscar taken away. I don't think he's going to have his Oscar taken away because, if they did that, they would be setting a really strange precedence, and they would have to take it away from other people, like Weinstein and other people. But we'll see. I mean, he's already resigned from the Academy, so we'll see what the ramifications will be on April 8th. But since then, other things have transpired. One being that Jada Pinkett Smith now has put out another statement, according to a source, where she stated Jada Pinkett Smith wishes Will didn't get physical with Chris Rock at the Oscars. Couple are in agreement overacting as Whoopi Goldberg insists his career will recover. Jada Pinkett Smith wishes her husband didn't slap Chris Rock, a source claims. An insider alleged Pinkett Smith isn't mad at him, but doesn't need protecting. Now, again, if you watch my last video, you understand why this is really interesting to me, because we talked about in that video how narcissists always want to be protected, and that you can never really protect or do anything for a narcissist because it's never enough. Nothing you do will ever be enough. And in that case, I pointed out the fact that, Will wanted to protect Jada from that joke. That's why he went and slapped Chris Rock, because he wanted to protect her. And she's coming out saying that I didn't need protecting, and throwing him under the bus and making him look bad because he's the emotional guy that couldn't, keep hold of his emotion, and he couldn't be a man and just face his emotions, and again, emasculating him in a way. And I think that also it shows why Will Smith is in such a precarious emotional state all the time, because it seems like she gaslights him all the time. She was the one who instigated and triggered him with that side eye, like when she was like, and then proceeded to laugh when he responded the way he did. When he went and slapped Chris Rock, she was laughing. So it's just really interesting how narcissistic her response is, and also points again to the fact that she's always playing the victim. I didn't want him to go save me. He just took it upon himself to just go ahead and do it. I didn't want him to. He overreacted. Him. This is all his fault. It had nothing to do with me. I'm innocent in all of this. She's not innocent. Now, interestingly, there was also some comments made by comedian Earthquake, which I thought were really interesting comments. He said, "That's what happens when a man loves a woman who doesn't love her." Earthquake says Jada should have stopped Will Smith. He basically said, personally, I feel sorry for Will Smith because he's being beaten and abused by Jada, just saying. That's what happens when a man loves a woman who doesn't love him, and he's doing everything to try to win her love, the 58-year-old star began. I've been there before, Earthquake admitted. He continued, you have to make a decision, either accept it for the love she giving and just accept that, or just leave it alone. But you will never ever win her love because you can't make her heart feel what it don't. And she don't. And her actions that night showed it, and I feel for him. I do too. I also feel for Will Smith. I think that this statement really, hits the nail on the head, though, that if she truly did love him, she wouldn't have let that happen. she triggered Will Smith to do what he did. Now, of course, he has to take responsibility for that, and he's a grown man. But this is what I'm talking about when I say this is what happens when you're in a narcissistic relationship and you're being gaslighted all the time. And it really feels like Will is an abusive relationship, and he's going through the motions of that whole Jekyll and Hyde thing. And it really does feel like if Jada did truly love Will, she would be helping him feed the good wolf. She would be helping him understand when he's feeding the bad wolf, and they would help each other become better people, not feed the bad parts of themselves. And in this case, I think that this is exactly what Jada does to Will all the time. And it's very clear to me that they are in an abusive relationship. And then, of course, there was also, this was really interesting as well. So, of course, following up with everything, I was like looking through the news, and I saw something that was also really interesting. And this kind of goes to show how narcissistic Will also is, and the kind of things that are starting to kind of come out now about him. And this caught my eye. That says Will Smith bullied Paul Rodriguez during the Ali film on set. Ali actor Paul Rodriguez said Smith gave him verbal slap almost every day. So he came out and he said he wasn't surprised at the situation, and said Chris Rock only took one slap at the Oscars, but I took a verbal slap from Will Smith every day, Rodriguez said during his interview. And sometimes I think the emotional injuries are just as deep, if not deeper, than physical ones. That movie was meant to be a huge stepping stone in my career, but for me, it ended up being a nightmare because of all the sickening abuse I got from Smith. When Paul Rodriguez landed the project, he was excited about his film role. However, his lines were cut and he wanted to quit due to Smith's bullying. He was evil to me, but nice to everyone else. It was sort of like Jekyll and Hyde. And that's a really interesting reference here with regards to Will Smith, because we saw in the Oscar video itself where he was laughing at the joke and he was fine, and then all of a sudden it goes from, Mr. Jekyll and Hyde, it goes from one extreme and happy and go lucky to I'm gonna slap you and becoming physically violent. So it's really interesting. I think that Jada triggered him to do this. Having said that, it's interesting to note that he's had these issues with other people. So, and I think that this goes hand in hand with the idea that he's been feeding the wrong wolf, and he probably has to deal with this type of abuse and emotional and verbal abuse probably from Jada all the time. And this is the kind of thing that has been going on with him for so long, that this is how he's learned to behave now. And this has been a gradual change. He wasn't always like this. At least I don't think that he was always like this. I think it's a gradual change, and he's just gotten worse and worse over the years. It's sad. It's sad to see, because I really like Will Smith, and I've been following his career for a long time, and it's sad to see how far he's fallen. But let me know in the comments what you think down below, and let me know, do you think that Will is a narcissist? Do you think I'm wrong about that? Do you think that they're going to take his Oscar away on April 8th? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Be sure to slap the like, share the video, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.